So what is the field of geology? Well, the field of geology is the study of the earth and the materials that it is comprised of. It also can be described as the process of how such materials develop over time and how they are formed. Geologists also include the many types of organisms that our planet that lives on our planet, as well as how they are formed and how they came to be. So an important part of geology is the study of how Earth's materials, structures, and processes of organisms have changed over a large course period of time. One such person who figures all that out are geologists. Geologists work to explore some of the world's most environmental, climatic, and geological questions of our today's day of age. Geologists require a large, high level of thinking, processing, studying, as well as field study. It's pretty much hands-on. You can't read on, figure out, well, you could, but it's also a hands-on working experience, going out to a sublocation, figuring out, collecting data of how certain rocks are formed, shaped, how they look, and how they differ from other rocks and other land masses that formed over the billions and billions of years of which we have seen throughout our course of history. So a grand example of this is the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon they use the Grand Canyon to gather data about the past, and especially throughout the formation of its rocks in those locations. Explored greatly because of its fossil records and contain material formed far before anything found near its sublocation was today. So it's very isolated from a lot of its nearby locations. And pretty much placed like a puzzle that is pretty much easy for us to read, in a sense that your older records that you will find will basically be at the bottom of the canyon, and your newer records will be more close to the top. As time plays in geology, and so they figure out how life has changed and events have passed over the large period of time. One example could be through fossil records, where you're looking at old extinct animals, then how you compare them with other fossils that you find in that location, figure out their habits, their culture, their living standards, just from the fears that are placed throughout their body. They can also figure out conditions that they had to adapt to, especially if they're like a fur creature or they had hair. You can figure out it was a very cold natural environment which they had to adapt to. And so to figure out this process, they used relative dating and absolute dating techniques relative to identify basically close enough information to where this information took place, and absolute dating information to an exact time frame of which took place and when it did and why it did, and so on and such forth. So how has geology impacted society? Well, geology has impacted society because it helps us gain a sense, or geology has helped us gain a sense of what's wrong, what we are doing wrong in our society, especially with how we are handling our resources through the energy, the environment, and the economy, and what we have identified, especially with pollution, and how pollution is helping us change our own geological timeline for the worst. And how has geological insight helped shape humanity's progress through the ages? especially through our age. And what today is like, well, especially over the past 50 years, technology has made a huge increase in today's society and a huge influence in today's society. And the problem is that with technology, as technology is growing, we have to adapt our old techniques and with our newer ones we have to make like consumption or energy resources a lot more efficiently, because if we use it more in a hazardous way, we can eventually destruct our own life and uh, make it more difficult in a way of living. So if we have that more efficient, the more better balance of use, we can have a better future, much more than what the past has been like. And geologists' job is to make that work over and over again as problem solvers. They have to figure out the best course of action that we can use to determine our own better future.